Hello, hello, hello. It is me, Cupid, and today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite thing, the internet. Ooh, also seemingly right now, everyone's least favorite thing, millennials. Ooh. Now listen, we're going to be talking about millennial cringe, and let me just say first and foremost, I am a proponent of cringe. I do whatever you want. Do whatever you want that's going to make your little heart happy. And if that's being so insanely cringy, who am I to judge you? I don't know you. Even if I did, I'd tell you to go for it. I love cringe, but most people don't, understandably so. And in recent years, we've sort of seen this thing called millennial cringe rise.
The cheese tax, the cheese tax.
And I think it's pretty similar to what happens every time a new generation grows into adolescence, where we sort of see that generation mock the previous one and, label them as old and uncool, and everything they do is just so gross. And I think we're seeing that now, like we always do, but we're seeing it in a really interesting way, because whereas usually the generation prior could just say all these things in the comfort of their own generation, now we have millennials and Gen Z sharing the same spaces consistently, with things like social media happening, and there not really being a way to filter who you do and don't see unless you're trying to block every millennial. I mean, that'd be really hard, but I'm sure someone's done it. And good on them, honestly. Good on them. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about millennial cringe. So buckle up, kids, because this is about to get totes amazeballs. Derp. Good God. Now, before we talk about millennial cringe and how millennials are in the current state, we do have to talk about when they were cool, right? When they were the it generation that Hollywood and brands and the media as a whole was trying to appeal to, right? Now, I think when we look at kind of the generational divide, the way generations interact with each other, it's vastly different each time, because obviously, like, the world changes, the political climate changes, everything kind of changes. But I think millennials and Gen Z have a really interesting dynamic because of the internet, right? The internet has shaped the world as a whole, and it's shaped it in a very profound and very fast way. And it's just not, I don't really think that there's something we can compare this to. The only thing I think you could compare it to would be like a written word, maybe, like language as a whole, but apart from language, right? Like, I think the internet has kind of shaped generations in very distinct ways. And when we look at, what the internet was like for millennials, it was very different to what it's like now, right? For millennials, people were obviously still using the internet, and they were using social media, right? They had things like AOL, they had MySpace, they had Facebook, right? They had ways to go talk to people if they so chose to. However, most of them didn't, right? Most of them were kind of the mindset that, like, I'm not primarily going to talk to people here because I'm just going to go hang out with them, right? Like, I have friends IRL. Why would I be on the internet when I could go outside, right? The internet wasn't really seen as this source of entertainment in the same way it is now for most people. However, there was a subsect of people who were using the internet as their primary, form of entertainment, right? And these people, well, to put it lightly, they were losers. And that's, not to be mean, but that's what they were, right? The people on the internet who were using sites like Dig or the Something Awful forums or Newgrounds, right? Like, these were not cool people. If they were cool, they would have been outside, like, doing something, right? But they were on the internet because that was kind of their safe space. That was their form of escapism, and that was what brought them joy. And for a lot of people, that actually is also what brought them social interaction, right? They're able to talk to people on these sites. And, although these sites don't really exist now with, Newgrounds, and that Newgrounds is just kind of gone, right? Like, it exists, but she's not doing great, right? But like Dig, the Something Awful forums, those were both kind of, Reddit is now sort of what we have instead. But there is one website. There's one website that has withstood time and is even more popular now than it was when it started. And that website, my friends, is YouTube. Now, as I mentioned before, right, the people who were you know, kind of primarily using the internet were losers. And I'm not saying this to dog anyone, right? I'm not really trying to piss off any YouTuber fan bases. At least not yet. Maybe soon. This is a joke. But because of the fact that most of these people were losers, a lot of their social interactions and a lot of people that they were communicating with started having this internet dialect, so to speak, right? Like, there is a very specific way that people who would use the internet a lot were talking on the internet. And what's important to note is, to my knowledge, right, I don't think most people were talking like this, right? I don't think most people were engaging in this sort of language because, like, they didn't know it existed, right? Like, it wasn't big. And so the internet dialect was this very niche thing, but there were people interacting with each other who were only using that dialect, right? And because they weren't getting a lot of social interaction outside of these online spaces, I feel like it really cemented in their mind, like, this is how I'm going to talk and this is how other people talk. And I think that that's a hard thing to kind of grasp for Gen Z in particular, because the internet dialect and, like, the just standard teen speak is like, it's like this, right? They are so intertwined at this point, it's really hard to kind of tell what you could consider internet speak and what you would just consider teen speak. And I do also think that in Gen Z's case, it's really interesting too, because most of the terms we use, we didn't invent, right? Most of the terms that are used and are popular right now with teens come from ballroom culture. A lot of these things like slay, 8 down, right? Like work, diva, all of these sorts of things have been used in ballroom culture for decades. So I am really interested to see if our dialect and the way we speak manages to hold on at all because it already existed, or if it becoming mainstream has kind of been a death sentence for it. Like, will we still be using, like, boots in 40 years, or, like, no?
Hi, dearie. How are you?
Oh, yeah, no, things are going great. School's been going good. I've almost got my master's, even.
That's good. But, can I ask you a question?
Yeah?
Why are you so chopped?
What?
I mean, back in my day, we were all worried about serving cunt and slaying the house down boots. I mean, look at you. Why haven't you been looks-maxing? See, and this is why you don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend. You know, I'd support you either way. I just don't think you're not serving LGBTQ plus realness. You know, not really giving that non-binary barista boots, so to speak.
I don't even know what you're saying, but I feel like I should be offended.
God, of course you don't understand now. Because I'm unk status. I should just KMS.
You're right. Okay, Grandpa, I think it's time we put you in a nursing home.
Gag.
Now, with the rise of YouTube, we got to see something really interesting in the media that children were consuming, right? With things like computers and iPads and all of that becoming really easily accessible to the masses, a lot of kids were growing up with not only, you know, things like Disney Channel or Nickelodeon as their primary media source, but they also had YouTubers, right? And really was like a YouTuber for everyone, right? Like if you were a small little kid who wanted like Minecraft videos, you had like Stampy and LD Shadow Lady with like very like corny over the top humor, and it was a lot happening all the time, right? You know, as you grew up and like people became preteens and kind of like started feeling insecure, there were people who were great for that too. You had like I Superwoman, you had Dan and Phil. And then even for the people who, you know, were consuming things that were like conventionally popular and they weren't using the media the same way that like outcast millennials were using it back in the day, you also had stuff for that. You had, you know, those like DIY school hacks, you know, with like RCL Beauty and what was her name? Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot who she... I don't remember you, Queen, but you. Lord DIY. Lord DIY. That girl. There really was something for everyone. And it makes sense, right? Like, YouTube was almost like the first streaming service. Like, it was like taking a kid into a candy shop and being like, you can have anything. There was so much. It was all so brightly colored. The humor was so like corny or self-deprecating, and there was just a lot all the time. It was like you were on crack. But if you take a kid into a candy store and let them eat as much as they want, they're gonna get tired of the candy eventually. Eventually, they are going to overindulge and they're not going to like candy anymore. Now, do you remember that age in life where you had to kind of throw away all of the childish things in your life, right? You had to say goodbye to the dollies, you had to throw away the toys, and instead of watching like Sophia the First, you had to watch Riverdale. Which, by the way, was a massive fucking downgrade. Can we go back to Sophia the First? That music slapped. Anyone remember the Riverdale musical episodes? Good God. But, you know, when we threw away all of those childish things, we also did the same with a lot of YouTubers, right? A lot of people that we enjoyed consuming the content of, we kind of began to associate with these childlike enjoyments. And to be fair, at the end of the day, when we look at children's media and when we look at YouTubers, especially during that time, girl, the Venn diagram's a circle. Like, this over-the-top, oversaturated, constantly, you know, poking fun at something, that is all, like, child humor. And that's not, like, to diss on these people, right? And, you know, like, they were just having fun on the internet. And I don't think that they were, like, I think some of them knew that they were making content for children. I don't think all of them did. I think sometimes you could kind of tell that they were just doing stuff to do stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, regardless of if they knew this or not, that was who was watching. Children and young people were watching. 30-year-olds weren't watching Dan and Phil in 2014. Probably. I'm sure some were, maybe. But, like, I don't know. I just don't think that's what was happening. Right? And, you know, when Gen Z, when they were growing up and they were reaching adolescence and they were kind of looking at these behaviors and looking at the behaviors they were constantly seeing the YouTubers of their past do, they were beginning to associate it with a certain word. Right. Cringe. Gen Z was starting to relate how these millennials were acting in their YouTube videos to being cringy. And that's because they were associating it so heavily with childlike humor, with childlike enjoyment. And again, I don't think that YouTubers were like making these videos and being like, oh, like, this is the children, they're gonna love me. Well, some of them were, but this isn't about them. No, Gen Z was starting to equate millennialisms with cringiness. And Gen Z in particular has kind of appointed themselves as like the officers of cringe, scouring the internet day and night, making sure no one commits an accidental faux pas, because why would you do that? Oh my God, like, you can't do that. And it's interesting, I do think at one point it was maybe done in like protection, right? Like trying to be like, hey, like, this is how the internet works, Gertrude, like, we can't do all that. That's weird. People are gonna think you're weird, Gertrude. You don't want people to think that. But I think at some point, and I think this shift happened sometime after like 2020, 2021, people just really became mean, right? People really became mean. And God forbid you did something they didn't like. God forbid you made a joke. God forbid you made a gesture that was too over animated. Otherwise, you were gonna be in one of those videos, right? And those videos, I think, also really just hone in how mean people have gotten. It also hones in how much Gen Z cares about being cringe, right? These videos act as almost like a guidebook, like, don't do this. Everything that these people are doing, don't do it or you're gonna end up in one of these and people are gonna ridicule you and mock you. And I know this sounds so fucking dramatic, right? If you are a millennial, this sounds insane, or like, who cares? But I want you to think about it for a second. Let's do a little exercise, right? I want you to think about the cringiest thing you've ever seen, or the most embarrassing moment, right? And I want you to think about that and sit with it for a second. And think about that gut-wrenching, like disgust or shock or whatever it may be, right? And I want you to think about that in the context of being a teenager, right? For teenagers, your social standing, how people think about you, is everything. You care about it more than you care about, like, eating. A lot of people. And for them, like, being cringe, having people mock you and ridicule the way you are acting, genuinely feels like life or death. Which, again, is so dramatic, but that's because they're teenagers, right? They are young people who are feeling these emotions. So obviously they're gonna be melodramatic, right? And the issue is, of course, at the end of the day, you know, first of all, that Gen Z is really policing themselves and they're not actually letting themselves have fun because they're so worried. But two, there's nothing wrong with being cringe, at least morally, right? Like, being cringe is just a silly, goofy thing. It doesn't make you a bad person, but with the way Gen Z acts and the way they feel, it's almost like they equate cringiness with morality, which just, like, isn't true. You shouldn't do that, right? That's just not, don't do that. Oh, what a cute doggo. :3. Stop that this instant. What the fuck? Who are you? Why the hell are you in my house? I am the guardian of the internet, here to stop people from making horrible, horrible mistakes. Why are you here then? Shouldn't you be, like, stopping someone from getting doxxed? Why are you with me and not, like, a K-pop Twitter stan account? I mean, is doxing really, like, that bad? I don't know, I just think people are being, like, kind of dramatic. Like, just move. Hello? Right, no, yeah, no, totally. So why are you here? You were about to commit the gravest sin possible. Being cringe. That's the biggest crime? Jesus Christ, you've really gotta get this whole thing sorted. Silence, mortal. If you send that text, grave things will happen to you. Like what? Well, people are gonna think you're, like, really fucking weird. I'm watching the FNAF movie on a Friday night. People already think I'm a fucking loser. Oh. Yeah. Well, still, you shouldn't send that text. Think about the social right, so send. Now let's just see what happens. Great, you know, I tried, and now you're gonna screw your fucking But he texted back. Oh. Well, what'd he say? He said, yeah, isn't he so Oh. Well, you guys are gonna be happy together then. I have more important matters to attend to. Someone's about to tweet, "Charlie's more talented than MJ," and put their phone on vibrate. I can't have that happen. Not again. Alrighty then. Fucking weirdo. Now, throughout most of time, there's been sort of a separation between where children can go and where adults can go. Except the mines. The mines are for everyone. The children yearn for the mines. But there's been some sort of separation, right? Whereas now, there really isn't. You know, third spaces are dead, all those children websites are dead, right? Like, where do kids go now? And well, that's the internet. That's places like TikTok, primarily. And there isn't really a way to separate children and adults, right? You can go in certain niches that maybe are occupied primarily more by one demographic. I mean, if you go in, like, I was gonna say if you go in the, like, toy unboxing niche, right? Like, it's probably mostly children watching. But no, that's not even true, because we just had, like, Labubu's, and people love that. Shout out Vanilla Maze. I mean, she got famous from unboxing those, didn't she? Like, you really never know anymore. So there's not really a way to kind of filter out who you do and don't want to see. And so I think that's part of the reason why Gen Z has made all of these rules and regulations, right? Because they want to know, nay, they need to know who is and who isn't cool, right? Who is young, who is hip, and who is with the kids. if anyone says any of that stuff, they probably are none of those. People say hip anymore? No. Hip, mama moo. Which, this sounds silly, right? These rules, these things, these faux pas all seem really unnecessary, and they are. They definitely are. But again, you have to really think about it through the eyes of Gen Z and think about memes, right? The worst thing that can happen for a meme is for brands to pick it up. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Brands picking up pop culture moments that are like tied to a generation, awful. Kills it so fast, it makes it uncool. And again, might be silly if you're an adult, but I want you to think about this. Millennials, I'm specifically talking to millennials, I want you to think about this. Millennials who are on the internet, right? I want you to think, imagine if Wendy's had the can I has a cheeseburger meal, right? Imagine if Bath and Body Works had a buy one get one 55% off deal, right? Imagine if McDonald's had Charlie the Unicorn toys in their like Happy Meals. You would be like, great, all of the fun's gone. Nothing kills comedy more than a brand, because like, ew, you don't get us. You're like old. Ew, down with the man. And in doing this, in, you know, being the reason why memes and moments are just so fast, Gen Z's almost started to eat themselves, it seems, right? Because now, sure, brands can't enjoy it and their social media teams can't really pin in on anything, but neither really can they. With the exception of some things that tend to have like a longer shelf span of like maybe a couple months as opposed to like a week. I'm looking at you, demure and mindful. That thing only lasts for like a week and people were done with it, which is crazy. No one can enjoy anything. No one can enjoy anything. And also, like, it's really hard to actually keep up with what's happening. I am 21. I use the internet very regularly. There will be moments where I don't understand what the fuck is being said to me. Maybe this is I have a job. Maybe it's because I, like, have hobbies. I don't know. But, like, you can't really expect people to, like, consume media the same way you are to the same extent, right? And I feel bad for millennials because obviously, like, they use the internet and they know this sort of stuff to an extent, but because of how like quickly changing things are, if they try to sound cool, they really just always end up sounding like an out-of-touch adult trying to be like, hey there, fellow kids. Oh my god, is that Madison beer? Taste. Huh? Oh my god, yeah, thank you. I've loved her ever since she did that song for Monster High. I was like, this girl, a vibe, obsessed with her. Yes, she's so mother. Yes, Madison Wine, she's so mom, so nurturing, so caring. Yeah. What did you just say? Madison Wine. Mom. Mamacita. How old are you? Well, spiritually, I'm still 20. She asked how old you are, not how old the girls you're attracted to are. Well, then I'm still 20, just add 15. Oh, you're 35? Ew. Ew, you're so old. You're like basically decomposing. Ugh. I'm 35, I'm not 93. I mean, you look 93. Wow, you know, back in my day, we respected our elders. Holy shit, I just did it back in my day. Oh my god. Well, yeah, that's because we're old. Have we mentioned that we think you being old is gross? Because you're really fucking disgusting. Anyways, I'm gonna leave. Wanna go get boba tea and, like, talk about our favorite pop divas? Oh my god, yes. Should I be planning my funeral? Side note, shout out to my 60-year-old coworker who, like, one time was just, like, 6'7", and he's, like, 60 and, like, very French. So it was really funny hearing this old French dude go 6'7". It was like, girl, what? But I think the millennials get a lot of hate because of their proximity to the internet, right? Like, no one's gonna get on Barbara Ann, Sally Mae, because they're not using the internet. And if they're using the internet, it's to post about AI images of Jesus and be like, is he coming? And it's like, no, girl, he's not. He really isn't. I'm sorry. Whenever they do anything on the internet, though, when you had Rapture Talk, oh my god. Iconic, honestly. That was kind of a fucking moment. Fun fact, I didn't even find out about Rapture Talk on my own. I found out about Rapture Talk from my mother. See, I don't know what's going on, and I use the internet so much. It's like crazy. It really is. But yeah, millennials, they get all of this flack, and I feel like a lot of it does come down to the fact that, like, they're using the internet so much and Gen Z has to interact with them. But I also think, and maybe I'm being crazy, I have to wonder if some of this resentment comes from jealousy. When you look at the way that millennials use the internet and you look at how much they just use it for fun, millennials aren't really using the internet in the same way Gen Z is because they don't feel like they have to, right? Most millennials aren't really trying to curate their feed. They're not trying to get clicks or impressions or whatever. They're just having fun. They're having a giggle and a guffaw. And I just don't think Gen Z has the capacity for that anymore. I think most Gen Z just truly, with the way their minds are engraved, can't. And so when they see millennials doing things, being, you know, acting in a way that is very, like, not with the time, they get upset because it's like, how are you able to do this? How are you, like, don't you know people are gonna, like, judge you? And it's like, yeah, and that's okay. That's fine because you're supposed to have fun on the internet. That's, like, the point. That's the point. Just have fun. You don't have to curate your feed, man. Just vibe. Do these pants make my ass look fat? I don't think anything could make your ass look fat. I hope you fucking kill yourself. Well, it didn't work last time I tried. Yeah, and I wish it did. Yeah, same. God, who are you texting anyways? Oh, I'm not texting anyone. I'm gonna post those cosplay photos I did. No. What the fuck? What was that for? Look, I don't know how to tell you this, but your feed, it fucking sucks. It looks like you posted your entire goddamn camera roll onto your Instagram page. It's so awful. Okay, they're not that bad. If I have to see another shitty meme posted on your page, you're not going to be the only one that's attempted suey. Wow, suey is crazy. And you're crazy for thinking your feed looks good. Well, come on, like, it's my feed. Can't I just, like, post what I want for fun? What did you just say to me? That doesn't even fucking make sense. Give me your phone so I can fix your goddamn feed. Is it really that bad? Yes. Now, obviously, Gen Z isn't the only issue. There are millennials who are, you know. But I think it's really interesting to look at it from their perspective because when you look at how they used to use the internet, right? Like, using the internet made them feel cool. Talking to people on the internet and meeting people who are like them made them feel cool. It made them finally feel accepted. And they've now had to watch as Gen Z has pretty rapidly taken their comfort space and pushed them out and said, oh, like, this isn't for you anymore. And something I notice a lot with millennials who tend to be really mean towards Gen Z in this is that they still hold those old internet mannerisms, right? Which to me makes it seem like they never really, I don't want to say grew up, but it seems like they didn't ever really talk to anyone else, right? Once they became an adult, they didn't suddenly have a flourishing social life. They weren't talking to so many people and, you know, becoming an adult, I guess, so to speak. But they kind of kept the same mannerisms. They're still acting the same way they were when they were younger. I think for them, Gen Z pushing them out is forcing them to realize, holy shit, I'm not a kid anymore. That profound moment of like, I'm not cool. And that is the thing that, like, as a teen, you're taught to detest. You know, the thing that finally made them feel cool, the thing that finally stopped these feelings of inferiority and, you know, kind of feeling like an outcast, is now the thing that's gonna make you feel even more like an outcast. To them, it's probably like going back to high school and being picked last for dodgeball. And you gotta kind of feel bad. Like, on the one hand, it's like, you do have to accept that, like, yeah, like, not only are you, like, not the current generation, there are 2 generations after you, like, and, like, TikTok especially was made for Gen Z, like, that is primarily who's using it, and you do kind of have to realize, like, this isn't my space. You can have fun with it, you can do whatever the hell you want and enjoy it, but you're not the majority, right? You're not who the app is catered towards. It's not like how it used to be. And that's gotta fucking suck. I feel for them.
You got Val, go. How can I not appeal to their demographic? They are so whack. I am their demographic. They wouldn't know edgy if it bit them in the butt. Oh, sometimes I feel like the whole adult world is against youth culture.
Now, here comes to the part where I say, who's right and who's wrong, right? And which I assume is what everyone's expecting me to say, is that there is a definitive right and there is a definitive wrong. One party's being weird as hell, and the other party, perfect angels. And, well, I don't think that's the case. I think it would be very easy to sit here and say one party is doing something worse, right? Either Gen Z needs to calm the fuck down or millennials need to grow the fuck up. But I just don't think you can say it's as cut and dry as that. You know, I think for millennials, I think this entire thing with millennial cringe, I think it comes from the fact that they are being forced to realize that they are adults, right? They're not children anymore. And that moment where you realize that you are no longer like the it generation and you're no longer in your prime, which doesn't fucking exist, sucks, right? You have to realize that, oh wow, like my best years are behind me and I'm an adult now. And to realize that in your safe space, which you are actively being pushed out of for the things that made you cool before, you know, these mannerisms, these internet slang terms from so long ago, like the thing that was cool then, how cool people on the internet talked, that's the reason you're being pushed out. And that sucks. And look, right, I'm 21, right? I haven't yet really had that moment of, oh shit, I'm old, because I'm 21. But I just feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves that growing old is horrible, that we don't want to be old, that youth is great, we should hold on to youth. And why? Like, truly, completely, genuinely, why? There's nothing wrong with growing old. Growing old is a privilege, and I think more people should be excited for it. There's no such thing as your best years. You don't know what your best years are until you're dead and you're like, I liked this phase of my life. But ideally, you should like most of it. And I feel like so many people are so focused on the fact that they've lost so much time that they don't actually do anything with the time left. You know, you are not too old. Go meet new people. Go learn a new hobby. Go get a degree. Go fall in love. Go do something with your life. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Just because you are older now doesn't mean you're, like decrepit. You can have fun. And even if, yes, the internet maybe isn't made for you anymore, you can still enjoy it. People are going to hate on you, but honestly, people hate on everyone for doing anything. Are you really going to let some teenagers tell you what to do? Go have fun. And when they get mad at you for having fun, just ignore it. You're an adult. They'll realize in like 2-3 years, like, oh, that was kind of silly. Right? Think about how you were as a teenager. Like, you get over it. And I just want you to have fun. I don't want you to, waste the rest of your life being like, I wish I had done something before. Because you can do stuff now. Have fun, please. I want you to go enjoy your life. And Gen Z, right? I think Gen Z has so much problem with how millennials act because they can't grasp the concept of being okay with being perceived negatively, right? Like being uncool. And to y'all, I want to say, and this is, something that I also have to struggle with because I am Gen Z. What people think about you doesn't fucking matter. You don't know random strangers on the internet. You don't know these people. Don't let the concept of people's opinions on you make you not do something, right? Because here's the thing. I have graduated high school, graduated it fairly recently, only 3 years ago. When I tell you, I don't think about high school at all. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed most of high school. I don't think about it. There is not a moment where I'm like, wow, like, glad I wasn't cringy in high school. I don't care because I'm an adult. You become an adult, you learn things, you grow as a person. And honestly, like, being cringe really just doesn't exist at some point. Like, at some point you just kind of are like, oh, okay, who cares? I pay taxes. I have more to worry about. I'm paying, like, money to so many fucking entities. I hope my car doesn't break down. I have a mortgage. Like, at some point you just gotta realize, like, I don't really care. And I don't want Gen Z to not do things because other people might judge them. Do it. Do it, please. Go make that edgy OC that has way too many neon colors and it literally fucking hurts to look at. Go do that, right? Go do that. Go cosplay. Go write fanfic. Go, I don't know, do something. Do something. Have fun. You're a kid. You are literally supposed to have fun. This is supposed to be the time where you just do shit and you're like, who cares? Because I'm a kid. Rah. Just have fun, man. Please. I'm begging you. Have fun. Also the 20-year-olds, right? Like, just enjoy yourself. I hate that people are so worried about what other people are gonna think. Like, just have fun. I feel like I'm like on my like little hands and knees begging you to just go outside, go do something. Like, just go have fun, right? Don't put yourself in this box if I can't do this because then I'm gonna be cringy. Good, go be cringe. I am a proponent of cringe. I love cringe. Have fun, right? That's my message to everyone as a whole. Just have so much fucking fun. I think everyone should just have fun, right? I think everyone should just do what makes them happy and vibe. Don't let other people stop ya. Don't let yourself stop you. You know what? After this, I'm gonna go make a fucking hell of a boss has-been hotel OC. I'm gonna go be cringe. I'm gonna go roleplay. I'm not gonna do any of that, actually. I'm probably gonna take a nap. I'm gonna play Minecraft, actually, is what I'm gonna do. But I could do those things, and I would be okay with doing those things, because those are all fun. Those are all fine, and it would be a vibe. You know what? Long live cringe. My name is Cupid, and I hope that you continue to be so fucking cringy.